Good morning and welcome to Lawyers and Lats weekly legal literacy series. My name is Doris Innocent, and today I have with me a very amazing woman who works with children, especially the girl child. Please welcome with me the Executive Director, Spring of Hope for the Girl Child Development Initiative. Please, ma'am, let's meet you.
My name is Mimi Do. I am very excited to be part of this conversation.
Thank you so much for giving us some time out of your busy schedule. We hope we won't take so much of it. So viewers, you have it. Here we're talking about child abuse is no child's play on this edition. And I want to read something very quickly for us, and then we can dive straight into the conversation. The immediate and long-term impact of abuse can include mental health problems such as anxiety, depression, substance misuse, eating disorder, self-injurious behavior, anger, rage, aggression, sexual symptoms, age-inappropriate sexual behavior, multiple personality disorder, and other psychological issues. So, we're talking about abuse here. So, let's hear about abuse from you, child abuse specifically.
Okay. First, abuse as a verb means misuse.
Okay.
Now, talking about child abuse, I don't see child abuse occurs when an individual or a caregiver, or for here I will use an individual to represent all, taking care of a child, either hurts that child emotionally or physically.
Okay.
It becomes abuse.
Yeah, and there are various types of abuse.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the various types of abuse, but we'll talk about three because they are basic.
Yes.
So we have the physical abuse, we have the emotional abuse, and we have the
sexual abuse.
Yeah, the sexual abuse.
Yeah, we have the sexual abuse. Yeah.
So, and these abuses, they are not peculiar to all children. So if we are looking at them or we're looking out for these signs, we may misunderstand it because different kids and all children are not suffering from all these three abuses, but then they all still have implications and long-term implications on the children welfare.
Yeah, because we're looking at the fact that in our generation, those in the 20s and 30s, a lot of us have had to go and unlearn a lot of things that happened to us as children, and relearn and learn and re-educate ourselves. Because some of the things that happen to us were not public, they're not up for public conversation that we have today.
Yeah.
And so I think this generation of children are really blessed to have these conversations out there in the open space.
I also have the parents are woke. Parents are woke.
Yeah.
But still we still have cases of abuses.
Yeah, true, we still have cases, and that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Because some families, they are not even aware that they are abusing, because parents abuse their kids.
Yes,
they are not aware that they are abusing their children, and they are also not aware that their children are going through abuse because they are not seeing the signs. But then the signs are always there. And look at kids that are abused physically. So you see that they turn out to be bullies. You see kids that when they say, "I will call your parents," they become scared. They will give everything in the world, anything, to make sure you don't involve their parents in anything that has to do with them.
Yeah, and the thing with emotional abuse is that it's intermingled with the other two types of abuses. And then we see that in the long run, when children are abused, they turn out to be adults, and you can't give what you don't have. So we need to begin to give our children the right value system. We need to begin to give them the right mindsets and belief systems, because raising a child is beyond giving them shelter, food, and education. We need to begin to inculcate the right value systems in them, because even though we have psychiatrists and psychologists that attend to us in our mental health issues now, we also need to address these issues from the cradle. And seeing as children are on long vacation now, it's very important that we pay attention to these issues now, because a lot of parents will be leaving their children with or without supervision, and these children need supervision. They need supervision. They need to be watched.
Even with the supervision, you can't really tell who is supervising the child. Remember that perpetrators are the people we trust.
Very true.
The uncles, the aunties, the one who can leave our kids and even travel for a whole year and feel comfortable. We will not imagine that they are abusing our children.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. And then some parents, even if children try to suggest that okay, some stuff that they won't even believe. They'll say this child is just being stubborn.
And it's very important that parents begin to volunteer time to spend with their children. You know,
have conversations
and make sure that your child can trust you with the information. You know, it's very important. You were telling us earlier, you told us a bit earlier about a girl whose mother used to put pepper in her eyes. Please share that story.
That's an example of physical abuse.
Yeah.
Parents, so the parents is like punishment. They're trying to discipline their child to be better. But hello, putting pepper in a child's eyes or genitals is not a form of discipline. You have dehumanized that child, and this treatment has psychological effects.
Yes.
The child will be traumatized. That kind of child will live in fear of even having conversations with the parents, because they'll blame them for everything. And when the blame starts, the bashings, the punishments now play in. So parents need to understand the difference between torture and discipline. They are two different things.
Very important. We need to really pay attention to.
And if you're not, the line is thin, and if you're not careful, you can easily just cross.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a disadvantage to the child's development. Mind you, this conversation is headed towards the long-term implication
of child abuse,
which we are suffering it today in the society.
True.
Because people grew up broken.
Yeah.
If you trace cases of abuse, that's a domestic violence that we have in the society, so you discover that the perpetrators were abused, either physically or sexually or emotionally, and they grew up with low self-esteem. And people with low self-esteem, you can't tell what they will dish out at any time.
Wow.
Whatever energy you give them, once it messes up with their esteem, they tend to be violent. They're overly defensive. That's why you see that in marriages, those people that have been neglected as children, they have grown to be husbands.
Yeah.
They never get enough. Wives.
Wives.
Yes, wives. Right.
Yeah.
They are overly defensive. It's like they are in a war and they are and then they easily misinterpret energy.
Yeah.
Like I said, and then it results to violence, because that's the language they understand. It's the language that taught them.
Yeah, we've been talking about child abuse, but I just don't want us to overlook the fact that a child may not be abused, but the child may be witnessing abuse in the home or in the neighborhood. And it's very important that we begin to pay attention to these things. If, as a parent, you're abusing your spouse, male or female, it's important that we begin to take mental health issues seriously. Let's go for counseling, let's go for treatment, let's begin to address this issue so that we can raise a better generation after us. We shouldn't leave the generation after us worse than we met it. So it's very important that parents, teachers, everyone out there begins to pay attention to these issues. So let's look at the fact that there are different signs of abuse. You know, normally they would say that you should look out for the marks on the child's body, but now it's beyond that. We have signs where the child begins to sleep or eat in a different pattern. So parents begin to pay attention to your child's eating and sleeping patterns. Know when it changes. When a child becomes more hostile or aggressive, when a child begins to be withdrawn or isolated, and pay attention to the fact, like Mimi said, different abuse have different reactions. There are different signs. So we need to begin to pay attention to these issues, because in the long run, parents are the ones who suffer it, not the schools where they went to, not the churches or the pastors or the friends or the family friends. That abuse, but the parents are the primary people that suffer. Because imagine a man or a woman in their 70s and then their child is not doing something that they probably ordinarily ought to do. Living up to expectation because of what they suffered as children. Then they begin to take their child from one psychiatric home to the other, or one psychiatric home. We need to start dealing with these issues from the roots. And so this is the reason why we're having this conversation. If parents now, when these children are little, begin to pay attention to these issues, they won't get to deal with much worse issues when they are older. And we need to wrap this up here because time is not on our side. I want to thank you for being with us. Miri, is there something you want to add?
Yeah. because we don't have time, I will just say a child who is neglected may set the society ablaze just to feel warm. So we need to pay attention to the children so they don't grow up setting the society ablaze, because at that time all of us will burn. So we need to do the right thing, need to pay attention to children now.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, it's not just for the parents, it's for everyone in society. Employers should make their organizations family friendly, you know, because it's not just about I'm raising my child right. What about your other children? Be nice to them, be a home, be the right kind of atmosphere, create the right kind of atmosphere so that they can relate with you. Because these issues are real issues and we need to tackle them on time. And we want to say thank you. Meanwhile, don't forget, you can report any case of child abuse to us and we will handle it. Thank you so much for being with us on this morning edition. We hope to be with you same time next week, and thank you so much. Bye.